Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a huge question for anyone managing data. How do you get more storage for your money without grinding everything to a halt? We're going to look at how VMware vSAN has totally rewritten the rules on space efficiency.
Okay, let's jump right in. It's that classic challenge every IT pro faces. Your data is just exploding, but your budget, well, not so much. You've got to store more and more, but you still need killer performance. So how in the world do you pull off that balancing act?
So, to really get our heads around this, we first need to understand the two fundamental ways any storage system saves space. And trust me, getting this part is key to understanding everything that comes next.
So think of it like this. On one hand, you've got what we call opportunistic savings. This is stuff like compression. It's awesome, but it's kind of a gamble, right? It totally depends on what your data looks like. Then you've got deterministic savings, like RAID. This is your guaranteed win. You know exactly what you're going to get. vSAN uses both, but how it uses them has gone through a massive evolution.
Let's start by winding the clock back a bit to vSAN's original storage architecture, or OSA. For years, this was the standard way things were done, and it all comes down to a really specific design. So with OSA, everything is built around this two-tier approach. When your application writes data, bam! It hits this super fast write buffer, which immediately says, got it. This makes everything feel lightning fast to your virtual machine. Then later on, that data gets moved to a slower but much bigger capacity tier.
And that later on part, that's where the magic and the trade-offs really happen. With OSA, all the space-saving work, both deduplication and compression, or DD&C, kicks in as the data is moved or destaged from that buffer. The whole idea was to prioritize that initial fast response to the VM and push the heavy lifting to the background.
The best way to picture this is with a funnel. That fast write buffer, that's the wide mouth at the top. It can take in a ton of data really quickly. But here's the catch. The system's true sustained speed is all about the narrow neck of that funnel. It's how fast you can get data out of the buffer and down to the capacity tier. We call that the D-stage bandwidth.
And here is the big trade-off. When you switch on DD&C in OSA, it's not free. It takes work, CPU cycles, I/O, and all that extra work basically makes the neck of that funnel even narrower. So while you're getting that sweet space savings, you're actually throttling your own maximum steady-state performance. And that can really become a bottleneck under heavy constant workloads.
And it's not just about speed, This choice has a huge impact on your risk profile. If you're using the combined DD&C feature and a single capacity drive fails, the entire disk group is affected. That's a big deal. But if you only use compression only, that failure is totally isolated to just that one drive. We're talking a massive difference in your blast radius and recovery time.
Okay, so that was the old way. Now, let's fast forward and see how VMware completely flipped the script. Enter the vSAN Express Storage Architecture, or ESA. They basically took a look at all those trade-offs and said, nope, we can do way better.
And the revolution is right here on this slide. Just look at where those data services live now. Instead of being this thing that happens later, way down the line, now, compression, encryption, checksums, all that good stuff, it's all happening right at the top of the stack, the very second that data arrives.
And the whole philosophy behind this is so simple but so powerful. Transmit and process less data. It just makes sense, right? If you shrink the data first, before you even send it across the network to other hosts for protection, well, you have less data to move and less data for those other systems to worry about. It's a win all around.
This new approach is just smarter. It's way more efficient. The compression happens only one time, right at the beginning. That means less CPU load for the whole cluster and way less traffic clogging up your network. Plus, it works with finer 4 KB blocks, which means it can often find even more space to save.
All right, you might be asking, but what about dedupe? Well, this is where ESA gets really clever. It completely decouples deduplication from that critical write path, which totally solves the performance headache we saw with OSA. So now, deduplication is this smart background process. It quietly goes to work in the background, looking for duplicate blocks after they're already safely written. And check this out. It's adaptive. If your cluster gets busy, it backs off. If things are quiet, it ramps up. The point is, it never gets in the way of your actual application performance.
And the benefits here are just huge. First off, it's looking for duplicates across the entire cluster, not just one little disk group. That means way better data reduction. And because there's zero performance hit on your VMs, you can just turn it on and forget about it. It's perfect for literally any workload. This is a true game changer.
All right, let's put it all together. What's the bottom line? What does this all mean for your storage playbook today? This table really lays it all out, nice and clear. With ESA, that performance hit on your writes, gone. The deduplication domain, it's now global, across the whole cluster, which means better savings. And your failure domain, it's tiny, just a single device, not a whole disk group. All those complicated trade-offs you had to make with OSA, they're just gone, replaced by this simple, always-on efficiency.
So yeah, the recommendation here is pretty much a no-brainer. If you're looking for the best of both worlds, top-tier performance and maximum space efficiency, the vSAN Express storage architecture is the way to go. It's simpler, it's faster, and frankly, it's just more effective for what we need today.
You know, at the end of the day, this whole evolution from OSA to ESA, it's more than just a tech refresh. It's really about making sure your infrastructure is ready for whatever comes next. Your data isn't standing still, and with ESA, your storage strategy won't be either.